Hello? What's up?
No, the link is still broken.
The link is not broken. So the link, so if you click it, yes, it will take you to the wrong page. Copy and paste the URL and put it into Google. Tell me if that works. I think I texted you that. You said okay.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's true. I was searching up the test 13 and 11 on Google, but it couldn't.
Does it work?
Wait, give me 1 second. Copy. Can he do section 1 today? Is it okay?
Sure.
Because I have like a bunch of questions that I couldn't answer last time. No, it still takes me to test 9.
If you copy and paste the link in to Google, it takes you to test 9.
I copied and pasted.
Okay, I'm going to show you on my screen. Okay, so if you go to your calendar, right?
No.
And then you go to your schedule. Let's say this is test 11. You go to this URL, you copy, and you go to Google, paste. There you go. Did you try that?
Is it because I'm doing through my phone?
You should try it on a computer.
Oh. So
what you do is once you go here,
yeah.
you click download link. And then download link 1. And it will open up practice test 7. Or, well, it says practice test 7, but this is really SAT 11.
Oh. Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. So now, no excuse.
Yeah.
You know how to do it. And Alexis, I want you to finish the tests that you haven't done before.
I'll do it by next.
So we'll review the other tests this week.
Yeah. Test 9, section 1. Oh, you cut your hair.
Yeah, I did. Kept getting in the way of my running.
Did you say goodbye to your hairs?
Sure.
I mean, it was part of your body, so.
Yeah, but I don't think it's different for guys than it is for girls. Cutting your hair for a girl is what, like a huge deal or something like that?
Girls usually cut their hair like really short if there's something sad happens or
Oh
tragic.
yeah,
Yeah, they cut their hair like this short.
like a pixie cut, or they want some change in their life or something like that.
A myth.
Okay, section 1.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Um,
which questions do you need help figuring out? I don't want to go
so
through all of
okay,
them. I only want to go through the ones that you really don't understand.
okay. So can you like scroll it down? I'll show you the question because
Do you know which question it
but
is?
okay, so they always ask the similar questions in every each pair, like what's it called? Passage, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really good at the ones that you told me to do it first. Like, can you scroll it down? Like,
Like 10
yeah,
and
like 10
9.
and 9. I
Okay.
usually get all them right, but like except those.
Except 10 and 9.
No, like 10 and 9 kind of question, except the 10 and 9 kind of questions. Like those questions are like vocab or like
So you don't get these
or
right, but you get the other ones.
no. I get
These
those,
right, but you
yeah.
don't get the other ones right.
Most of the times I get these right and
Okay.
other like questions wrong most of the times, not every single time, but
Okay. So,
so
so the questions that you need to review are like 1 through 8.
yeah. But 1 through 8. Mm, yeah. Oh, 7.
Mm-hmm.
7 confused me the most.
Okay. So let's read this one. Based on the artistic philosophy expressed in the fourth paragraph, it's reasonable to infer that Precious Auntie would consider a hastily written first draft of a story to be. So, from first of all, this connotation, consider a hastily written first draft. So, something, do you know what a hastily written first draft is? No.
But it sounds like something harsh.
A little bit, yeah. Good. So, you understand that connotation. Like, it's not great.
I inferred.
Hastily good. That, that's what you should do. That inferring is good.
Hmm.
Inferring to get you the answer is not as good.
Okay.
Hastily means quickly or rushed. So if
Oh,
you've done a rushed first draft, it's not really great. 40 something through what? 46 to 59. So you go to 46 through 59. Precious Auntie came back to my mind. She talked everything ink. Even ink had purpose and meaning. Good ink cannot be quick, kind, ready to pour out. You can never be an artist if it comes without effort. Never be if it comes without effort. You simply write what's swimming on the top of your brain. And so basically what she's saying is so good ink. So well, actually you tell me, what is this person saying in this?
they're talking about ink.
Okay.
And there's Auntie, and she visited.
Okay. Let me rephrase this.
Okay.
If you write something fast, is that good ink or bad ink?
Wait, but how do you know if it's a good ink or bad ink? Like what?
Like is it so what so in this setting, she's talking about ink as in writing. So like um even ink has a purpose and meaning, right? So good ink means it's good. Bad ink means it's bad, right? If you're talking about pond scum, is that good or bad? Well, first, do you know what pond scum is?
No.
Let's see. Pond scum, dead leaves, and mosquito spawn. Is that a good connotation or a bad connotation?
It sounds like bad things.
Very good. So you simply write what's swimming on the top of your brain. Is that so? If you're just writing what's on the top of your brain, are you thinking about what you're writing about, or are you just writing?
Just writing.
Just writing. Is that is that a hastily written first draft or a well thought out draft?
The hastily written first draft.
It is. So from this, does the hastily written thing have a good or bad connotation?
Bad.
Bad. Very good. So now we know. So the first thing that we know is connotation, good and bad. Which of these has a bad connotation? Like, which of these has a good connotation? We can cross those out.
Okay. B.
B. Very good. What about which of these has which of the other ones has a good connotation?
A.
Yeah, I don't think A is it either. Oh, wait. So now, which one do you think that it is going to be? You have two choices left. So, and these are hard. Like, even I have to make sure, like, I have to check the answer key to make sure that I'm right. I'm still right, but sometimes it's like you have to check yourself because you're not always
so
sure.
Right, but you need to check. Okay.
So okay, you have two choices left. Essentially worthless in and of itself, or inappropriately analytical for a piece of art.
And I don't think it's analytical.
Okay, what does analytical mean? Do you know?
Like, isn't it like very like you're going into this one subject very sensitively.
Very good. Yes.
Right?
I think you're trying to understand. Like, yeah. So analytical is technical or very precise in its terminology. So yes, good. You know what analytical is? That's a big word. So you don't think it's that. So by default, it's C, right? C. Yeah. That's the correct answer. See, you were able to do that pretty easily, but all from like pretty easily. Yeah. Well, it took you a sec, but all it is just looking at the connotation. Yeah. These questions shouldn't take you that long. Okay. Like, okay, let me rephrase that. Don't spend too much time thinking about it. It seems like you know what you have to say. You just are continuously thinking about it and like checking up, right? So let me guess, you came up with that it wasn't D like a minute or two ago, and you were just thinking about, is it really not D? Am I thinking like, is that correct or no?
I knew it was C, but like I kind of inferred because
that's
analytical. Okay. I was like, I don't really think that's like.
Okay, but that's okay. That's a good inference. The reason why it's a good inference is it's based off of connotation. If it was just based off of like, I haven't picked C in a while or whatever, that's not a good inference. But if it's based off of connotation, that's what you're trying to go for. But yeah, good job.
And you know what's funny? I got number 8 right.
And you had 7 wrong?
Yes.
Okay, well, why did you get number 8 right and 7 wrong?
Because so like number 8 is asking like where's the answer in number 7, like in the paragraph, right?
Yeah.
And oh yeah, it just
I think
and then
lines, so 46 through 48.
yeah. Because
No.
it was no
46 through 48? Is that it?
no number 8 is C.
Yeah. It's not A.
52.
Okay,
Yeah.
52 to 55, starting with U and ending with spawn. 52.
You simply write swimming. The mosquito.
Yeah. Literally what we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So you know where to find the answers. You just need to. What did you pick the first time you chose 7?
A.
So do you see why it's not A now?
Yeah, cause he keeps talking about his auntie, but like
All that is extraneous information. Try to ignore everything that is not directly relevant to what you're trying to figure out. If you're talking about good ink, what do you do with ink?
right.
There you go.
Well, like, okay.
What?
No, cause they keep talking about ink and then they talking about other stuff, and I was like, and it's so long the passage, so I got so
Yeah, they use a lot of similes and comparisons. That's how these passages tend to work. But the objective is to get past all of that and get to like the real root of what you're trying for. All right, what's the next one that you really didn't understand?
Number 14.
Okay. Based on the information in the passage, which of the following would be considered a transactive memory source? So what is a transactive memory source?
Like changeable memory.
Okay, but you want to go find that in the passage, right?
Okay.
Transactive memory source.
Oh yeah.
By which our brains compartmentalize information.
Oh, but actually I got number 14 right, but I wasn't sure, so that's all I did.
Okay. First hypothesized by Wagner, transaction memories is reforms as a husband relies on his wife to remember a relative's birthday. So essentially what you're doing is you're using a separate entity to do the remembering for you, right? This is the perfect example. So you go back to 14.
Mm-hmm.
What is a transactive memory source? So something else is storing your memory for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think it is? Or would you like me to explain how I chose my answer?
I mean, I chose B, but
Okay.
I kind of inferred.
Okay, well, let's say, why is it not A?
Because can I read passage again? I forgot already.
I want you to also have this passage open on your computer.
Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna take picture first. Okay, I can scroll it down. Can you scroll it down, please? Thank you. Okay. So the reason why number A, I mean alphabet A is not an answer is
Okay, here. I'll walk you through it. So a souvenir on a trip does not exactly store any memory. It's not storing information. It evokes a memory, but it does not provide the information necessary for that memory. Does that make sense? It's just a placeholder. There's no actual information being provided. So that's why it's not A. A database that helps users locate specific books. That requires you to have a memory to invoke more access points of that memory. So let's say you're looking up an actor, you have to know their name in order to find more things about them. You need a memory to access more on that memory, right? It's not something you can just find all of your memories. So not that. A website that helps users plan and make travel arrangements. There's no memory that's being evoked here. It's simply just creating sections where you can participate in finding memories. So it's not D. All right. And then finally, you're left with B, a written list of user passwords from different websites. That is evoking a memory from a singular database. So it's exactly like your wife, you're using your wife to remember someone else's birthday. Does that make sense?
Whoa.
What?
You said using your wife?
To remember someone else's birthday. That's what the example they used.
Oh, that's true. That was bad. Using your
That's
wife
bad.
to remember someone else's birthday.
I don't know. You think a guy's gonna remember someone else's birthday?
Huh?
You think a guy would remember?
I don't even remember someone else's birthday.
Okay, well.
Only my mom, because my birthday is July 6th and my mom's July 7th.
But your mom remembers a bunch of birthdays, and I bet your dad doesn't.
I don't know. I've only met my dad twice, so I don't know.
Oh.
But
well, bad example.
My mom's kind of like me, so she doesn't really. She just knows my birthday. I don't know. I'm not sure. I never asked my mom, like, do you know his birthday? Do you know her birthday? So,
okay, well, irrelevant. It's just an example. So the point being is you have a set place where you ask certain questions, and it will give you the stored response, which is the same thing as B. If you look at it.
Oh, yeah, the situation is the same.
The situations are different, but the objective.
Yeah, like I'm talking about that. The exact same thing that you're talking to me right now. But it's just like it's because I'm ESL. That's why I'm like explaining kind of weird, you know.
No, you're good. All right.
Okay, I get it.
Which one next?
16, because I chose B and then I erased it and then I chose D and then it turns out the answer was C. So like,
oh wow, 16.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. The discussion of the experiment suggests that people are inclined to think of specific information sources in response to being. So people are inclined to think of specific specific information in response to being what? So We got to go find in a passage. Using various forms of memory recall. So this is their experiment. So this is where we need to look, right? From 40, from here down. And so based on that, we would go to here. The first experiment, participants think of computer terms like Yahoo or Google after being asked a difficult set of trivia questions. And then if their collection of readily memorable statements, so half of them were told their work would be saved to a computer, and the other half were informed that the statements would be erased. The participants who told their work would not be saved were best at recalling. So from this experiment, what can you say? So we'll go back to the answer choices. People are inclined to think of specific information sources in response to being. So specific information sources. In this paragraph up here, what are the two specific information sources?
The statements will be erased.
No. So how about search engines? Are those information sources?
Yes.
So where are the two search engines?
Search Yahoo or Google.
Very good. So these are the two search engines. And when did they think of this? When did they think of Yahoo and Google?
Oh, difficult.
Yeah, a difficult set of questions.
Yeah.
So with that, which do you think is the correct answer?
C.
Very good.
Oh, they should have just told me like Google and Yahoo. It'll be much better and happy world instead of
What?
specific information sources.
Well, see, that's the thing. They have to make it a little bit challenging. It separates the boys from the men. Yeah, that's a very sexist statement. Separates the people who are like who understand how to like take these tests and those who don't. So we want you to be in the first category. That's the objective here. And then based on 16, where we just found that information, you can answer 17, right?
Yup.
So what lines are this? 44 and 45. So which ones contain 44 and 40?
42.
Yes. So 17 is A.
And I got 17 right. So I'm actually good at like those two. Like, where did you find the answer with it? I got
well, if you found it to the wrong thing.
But I know the sources. So
yeah, but I don't see how that works. How can you know the source of a wrong answer?
I think I just know like I'm good at inferring like, oh, I feel like they're gonna have the answer sources, but I don't really comprehend that
Yeah.
section. You get it?
Well,
Or the
that's the trick.
question, or the question that they're asking, because it's like, okay,
That's the secret sauce. That's what you got to get.
okay, I'm trying.
I know. You're doing a good job, though. You're improving.
Okay.
How many? I'm curious. How many questions did you miss on this one?
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna count how many questions that I got right because it kept confusing me. Okay, 1, 2, 12.
Okay. I was gonna be happy with anything more than 10. So
Huh?
good job. I was
Oh,
gonna be
really?
happy with anything more than 10. Yeah, but I expect you to be a lot higher than that. Like, there's how many questions in this? 56?
52.
52. That means you had 40
like
questions
the
wrong.
time was chasing me, so I was like,
Okay. I get. I hate time tests. It's the worst for me. But I want you to get the next test that you take, I want you to get at least 22 right. Okay.
I'll try.
All right.
22. Can we do 20?
20. All right. Based on the description of Wegner's fourth experiment, what's the likely explanation for the findings of the largest single group of participants?
You're doing 20? I actually need to do number 19.
Oh, 19. I thought you said 20.
Marked. I don't understand.
Okay. According to the graph, approximately blank percentage of the participants remembered both parts of the information given to them during the fourth experiment. So you go to the graph, and this is during the fourth experiment. What percentage of participants remembered both parts of the information given to them? So remember the statements and folder locations is both, right?
Right.
So what between what two numbers is this?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe like 18, 17.
Okay. 18, 17. You go here.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Can you go back to the graph, and because I don't remember statements and folder locations. Was that question asking the remember statements and folder locations?
No, this is what the question is asking. This is where your inferring needs to come in. Approximately what percentage remembered both parts of the information given to them? So both parts of the information. What does both mean?
Both? Like, I know what both means.
What does it mean? Just tell me.
This one and this one.
Okay, good. This one and this one. So two things. What are the two things here?
To be honest, I thought it was remember folder locations, not statements, and remember nothing.
Okay, wait. So we're asking to remember what percentage remember both things, right? So first, if you're remembering nothing, or you remember anything at all?
Oh, then it is remember statements and folder locations because it's both.
There you go. This is nothing, which means they didn't remember anything.
Like, okay, so
These
I
are
thought it
one
was
or the other.
two graph. I thought it was comparing two graph and like doing math stuff.
Okay, but that in that case, you just have to read in the I'm sure in the paragraph it tells you what experiment 4 was.
Yeah.
Finally, they were given clues and asked to name the folders where the statements were stored. They were typed computer statements that they were told would be saved, and then they were asked to recall the statements, and then they were asked to name the folders where the statements were stored. So if you really didn't understand that, you could have gone back to the, what is it called? If you thought there were supposed to be two graphs, you go back to the passage, find experiment 4, right? Because that's what the question is talking about, experiment 4. See what they're asking for. Go to the graph, try to make sense of it. You realize, oh, they're talking about remembering the statements and the folder locations. And you're like, okay, I got this, easy, right? Another trick, these are percentages, right? 7, 10, 17, 30. 7% is this one, we'll say, or actually that's like 10. 10. This is 30. And this is 40. Or 37, roughly. This is 17. Based on this, you can automatically eliminate 7% because you have
7% and 37%.
Okay, but there's no 37%. So.
Oh, right. That's true.
So you can eliminate 7% because it's not even one of the choices here. So you're left with 17, 10, and 30. Then you go look at the things and you're saying these are, you see not in both of these statements. You're like, okay, that's not both. So you can knock out those two, and then you're left with 17. Okay. What's the next one that you have?
I mean, I got 20 wrong, but I didn't really mark this.
Do you understand why?
But I need your help for 20.
Okay.
It's
when
like
there's fourth
too
experiment,
long. The question's too long.
What is the most likely explanation for the findings of the largest single group of participants represented in the graph? What is the largest group of participants represented in the graph? Which one has the highest bar?
Remember nothing.
All right. So which one shows the people who remember nothing?
Oh. See?
Correct.
Wait, I chose.
Oh, wait. No.
But it was wrong.
Yes. So they did not attempt to remember any specific pieces of information. That could be true, but it's not necessarily true because they could have attempted to remember both of them and just failed to remember them. They could have dementia and not remembered anything. This graph does not tell you what they did to remember them, only that they did not remember them. It also doesn't tell you what each of the other things did to remember each of their sections. In the question stem, it's asking what is the most likely explanation for the findings of the largest single group of participants representing the graph. It's definitely not B and it's not A because they weren't trying to remember either of those things. So it's either that they did not attempt to remember any specific pieces of information, or there's not enough information to determine the cause of the results for those participants. If it was C, they wouldn't be running the experiment, right? Because that means they didn't care and they weren't trying. But such a large percentage of people were forgetting that it cannot be that they didn't try. It's that there's some other reason that they're not telling us. Does that make sense? Maybe not.
It makes sense. Oh. Oh, there is not. No. Yeah. I mean, because I
so
was
these like, okay. So the reason that these aren't correct is because the passage doesn't support them.
Yeah, I know that A and B is not right, but I was like,
Well, the
C.
passage also doesn't support that they did not attempt to remember any of the specific pieces of information, especially because it says
Oh,
the participants proved they were better able to recall the folded locations of the statement themselves. These participants are actively trying to remember them. Their goal is to remember them. It's not that they're be like, oh no, I'm just not going to remember them. It's like they're trying. It's just they can't do it. Does that make sense?
yeah.
If it was saying in the passage, yes, some of them were lazy and neglectful, or something along those lines, then yes, C would be the right answer. But in the passage, nowhere does it say anything like that. Does that make sense? Okay. You just have to read it a little closely. This one was one that, like, if you missed it, I wouldn't be mad because it's in the case where I would have inferred to C would be the right answer. I would have just picked C and moved on. It's not worth your time for questions like this to be like, oh, it could be D, but it could be C, and then just
That's
sitting
what
there
I
reading through the
usually
passage.
do.
Just move on.
I
And
chose
if you have
C
time at
because
the
my
end,
name starts with C. Huh?
yeah, if you have time at the end, come back to it and
Okay.
read the passage and try to figure it out. But if you don't, which I'm assuming you probably won't, just move on and try to get the ones that you can actually get.
Okay.
All right. What's the next one?
24.
43 to 44, the giant test tubes suggest that certain streams 43 through 44. Resnick realized that he could, as he put it in the 2008 paper, treat streams like giant test tubes by introducing guppies or predators to places they had not originally occurred, and then watches natural selection act on the guppies. This is a kind of real world manipulation of nature called experimental evolution. So he's experimenting with the world, which honestly isn't a great thing, so don't do that ever. But streams can okay, so giant test tubes. What do you do in a test tube?
In the test tube, do a test.
Like, have you ever used test tube before? In like chemistry or biology or
Yeah, like this one?
yeah.
Yeah.
And you like mix chemicals.
Mix chemicals and
What do you call that? Like what would you call that? When you're mixing chemicals and performing a test?
Experiment.
Correct. So which do you think the answer is?
A?
Mm-hmm.
24.
Do you see why it's A though?
I chose D. Well, I just inferred.
Okay. To solve widespread environmental problems. Is he solving any problems using test tubes?
No.
No. The thing is, the reason that he chose to use, so this question is, why is he using the phrase test tubes? What is the purpose of, like, he could have used anything. He could have said, this is my
cup.
Yeah, or well, not cup. Like, this is where I'm running my this is the way I'm running my study.
Mm-hmm.
Or where I'm finding things. The reason that he chose to use test tubes is because he's running an experiment, right?
Right.
That's like the connotation test tubes give off. If you didn't know that, now you do. If you're saying I'm going to use test tubes, you're most likely going to run a test or an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he says when he uses the phrase giant test tubes, it's going to be like a huge experiment.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
All right. What's the next one?
32.
32.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the main purpose of this passage. So this is remember our strategies? This is like one of the questions that you answer towards the end of reading, right? So the main purpose of this passage is to do what? Well, let's see. So this whole passage, the person addresses the Second Anti-Slavery Convention of American Women. She talks about a question of justice that's
She's talking
involving
about those like women rights, anti-slavery justice thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I chose first I chose C and then I erased it and then I chose no. First I chose A and then I fixed the to C. But it turns out the answer was D.
Okay. So the reason why are A and C incorrect?
Okay, so the reason why I chose A was because the first it has a woman in it. So I was like, oh, maybe that's the answer. And then I read number C, alphabet C, and it's a woman and slavery. So I'm like,
well, so does all of them. All of them have women's rights and slavery involved in them.
Yeah, that's true. But like,
okay, so the reason why A is incorrect is because Smith is not accusing anyone. She's not saying you are wrong for doing this. Shame on you. Fix yourself. She's not saying that. She's not accusing anyone. She's just saying this is a bad thing and we need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And why C is incorrect is because she makes the case that women's rights are meaningless while slavery exists. Also because she's not making that case. She's saying that it's a political question. We're stepping out of a sphere. She's not saying one is without the other. She's just saying each of these things has a great importance. Does that make sense? It's not like they're connected. She's not connecting them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think
not really.
Oh.
Okay, so here. If I said okay, think about this. If I was going outside and it was a rainy day and I got an A on my test. Okay.
Oh.
And then I went outside again on the next day of my test and it was not a rainy day, it was a sunny day and I got an F on my test. I could thereby correlate if it's a rainy day, I'm going to get an A on my test.
Oh,
right?
If it's a sunny day, you're going to get it.
And if it's a sunny day, I'm going to get an F on my test. However, that is not the case. Those two things are not correlated at all. That's the same argument that she's trying to make with slavery and women's rights. Just because you have women's rights doesn't mean that you cannot have slavery. And just because you have slavery, or you can't, just because you shouldn't have slavery, doesn't mean you can't have women's rights. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I get it.
Does that make sense?
So much sense now. I understand. Okay.
Can't tell if you're trolling or not. All right.
I understand.
That's the objective that she's trying to make in her passage. That's her argument. She's not saying that at all. She's not saying that you can't have one without the other. But in this whole paragraph, she's talking about how there needs to be an end to slavery, and women should be a part of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So which one shows that women should be a part of that and ending slavery? First, do you know what abolitionist means?
Abolitionist?
Abolitionist. No? Okay, I think that therein lies your problem. So abolitionists are people who help overturn slavery. They abolished.
Help over what slavery?
Overturn. Overturn means to get rid of.
Oh, okay.
So abolitionists, there are many famous abolitionists throughout history. Abraham Lincoln is the most prominent abolitionist because he repealed slavery through the 14th Amendment. I think it was the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment. He repealed slavery. And the 14th Amendment gave suffrage to slaves. But regardless, he talks about encouraging women and encouraging women to help overturn slavery, right?
Right.
That's what that part says. And it encompasses both aspects of what she's talking about, women and slavery. So it's the most accurate. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Or like, it's not, it's the best answer. Like other answers may be correct too, but it's the best answer.
Okay.
All right. Another one?
Oh, this is the last one. 51.
51. Okay, information passage 2 best supports which conclusion about mice in the experiment described in passage 1.
I chose C, and then I changed into D, and then it turns out the answer was C.
Okay, well, why'd you put C in the first place?
Because gram-negative bacteria.
Do you know what gram-negative bacteria means?
No, but it was up there.
Okay, good. You used the passage to learn what. Okay, good. That's how you should be solving these problems.
Right? And then I saw another fancy vocab. What was it?
What?
Yeah. Taste so back. How do you read this?
Texiobactin.
Yeah. So
that's a bacterium.
Right?
Yeah. But it's in the passage, isn't it?
Yes, it is in the passage. I started reading the passage again and I didn't understand.
So okay, where is Texiobactin?
Over there, 70.
Passage 2 best supports the conclusion of mice described in experiment 1.
Passage 270.
So first find what is the experiment in 1.
Okay.
The team designed a gadget, sandwiches, soil samples. Oh, actually, my bad. Texiobactin is the most promising drug. Mice infected with the bacteria cause an upper respiratory tract infection. And were treated with Texiobactin, which knocked out the infections. Okay. And where does it say anything about gram negatives and positives? Oh, my bad. First, teixobactin isn't a potential placenta. It doesn't kill gram-negative opportunists.
Mm-hmm.
So if we know that teixobactin killed the infections of upper respiratory diseases, but it doesn't work against gram-negative opportunists, is the respiratory infection gram-negative? So think about it this way. You have something that, you know that there are 6 apples in a box, right? And you know that if you take, that someone has taken 2 apples from the box. How many apples from the box do you have now?
4.
4, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the logical conclusion. Suppose you have a bacterium and you're giving something to destroy the bacterium, to kill it. You're sending something to kill it. And it works. Okay? But on the bacterium, it says you can't use this if you have gram-negative bacteria. So that means if you have a gram-negative and then not gram-negative. So is it going to kill this one?
No.
No. It's not going to kill it?
In what situation?
All right. I had huge deja vu for a second.
Wait, deja vu? When?
Nothing. So if it's not gram-negative, it's going to die. If it's gram-negative, it's not going to die. That's what it says right here. You're just combining these 2 things together. Teixobactin kills. So here's what you know. We're going to call teixobactin TB. It's not tuberculosis. We're just using as an acronym.
Okay.
So TB kills bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
TB cannot kill gram-negative. It cannot kill gram-negative because that's what it says right up here. So if you know it kills bacteria, but it cannot kill gram-negative bacteria, and you have, is literally an algebra equation, and you have this thing X, this bacterium X, that you give TB to, and it results in killed X. Does it kill the bacteria or does it not kill the gram-negative? I think I'm bad at explaining this because I don't know how else to.
No, you're not. It's just my brain is not working properly because it's like, I don't know. I'm dizzy right now.
That's fair. That's very fair.
It's a math equation.
Okay, here. I'll say this and I want you to repeat it back to me.
Okay.
In this part in the first passage.
In the first part.
TB or this teixobactin kills bacteria.
Teixobactin kills bacteria.
In the second passage. Teixobactin cannot kill gram-negative bacteria.
Teixobactin cannot kill gram-negative bacteria. Okay.
So if you know teixobactin can kill bacteria, but it cannot kill gram-negative bacteria, Based on that information, which of these is correct? Exposure to textobactums makes them less susceptible to subsequent upper respiratory tract infections. Does it say that anywhere? Textobactin is an antibiotic that kills bacteria. It doesn't say that it's not a vaccine to prevent you from getting it. So that's not true.
No.
Gram-positive bacteria enhance the effectiveness of textobactin against the upper respiratory tract infections. Does it talk about gram-positive anywhere? No. So it's not going to be that. Their upper respiratory tract infections were likely not caused by gram-negative bacteria. So they had a cough. You gave them textobactin and their cough went away. If they had gram-negative bacteria in here, textobactin wouldn't have worked, right? So even if you gave them the drug, they would still have a cough. So because their cough went away, was their cough gram-negative bacteria or not gram-negative?
Not gram-negative bacteria.
Correct. So is C correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why is D not correct?
Proteins of bacteria.
Okay, well, I'll explain this to you because we don't really have that much time. But textobactin, this is a mechanism. So it's like how something works. Nowhere in the passage does it say exactly how textobactin works.
Yeah.
It doesn't support, like passage 2 doesn't support that about passage 1. But this one is supported by passage 2 from passage 1.
Yeah.
Like you can find it in both passages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and that gram-negative bacteria is only in passage 2. So
yeah. Have you ever learned about gram-negative and gram-positive bacteria?
No.
Okay, well, it's very interesting if you want to look into it more, but I don't think you are very interested in that. So basically, it's just two different
types. I cough a lot, so maybe it's because of the gram-negative bacteria.
It's not, but that's just because you need to stop going out so often and getting COVID.
No, I don't cough so often.
You got COVID twice.
No, I got it once.
You got it twice. Linda texted me, said, Cindy can't make it. She has COVID. And then she texted me like 2 months later, Cindy can't make it. She has COVID.
I got COVID once. What are you talking about?
Oh, I got texted twice that you couldn't make it because you have COVID.
What? So confused. No. That's not true. I got COVID like on, when was it? January something. The pageant week, remember? That was
yes, the pageant week.
And oh my God. I don't you know what? Never mind.
Okay, well, regardless, any last minute questions for me? Did you know how to access the what is it called? Your homework for this week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want you to have you been reviewing the questions that you missed with the answer key?
The answer key?
The answer here. The answer key is actually really useful.
Oh, yeah, with the explanation, right?
Yeah, and read the explanation that explains why each of the answers are incorrect. Okay, keep doing that, because what happens is the more you do that, the more you'll start seeing how the exam writers think.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll become used to their questions. And that's the goal.
Trained.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right, Cindy. I'll catch you later.
Bye.
Get some sleep. See you next week.
You too. Bye.